fitness is a primary concern of training. We need to make sure that the horse is ready to do work and that it's not going to become fatigued and labored and therefore more prone to injury. So slow conditioning, again, as I said before, to gradually increase a horse's cardiovascular fitness is really a major concern. Before we can condition them in the cardiovascular sense, we have to first condition bone and soft tissue, and that's why I talked about earlier about slow conditioning work to allow the bones and joints to accommodate to exercise stress. And then progressive interval training with slow start and building gradually. And you can work your dressage horse very much like you can work an event horse or a jumper. Some galloping is good, some brief exercise breaks with more intense training, and then breaks and more intense training, allowing that horse to recover. Also, how you work the horse day to day is very important. Irregular work schedules predispose to problems. That is working the horse very, very hard for several days in a row and then giving it time off for several days and then coming back and working it really hard. It's probably better because, as I said before, the horse naturally moves around a lot on its own. Intermittent levels of work day to day are probably, in the long run, a little bit better for the horse. It's also going to help manage its gastrointestinal tract and how it responds to stress. So less gastrointestinal problems in equine gastric ulcer syndrome if the horse is worked in a methodical manner and things are sort of routine. Some overtraining can certainly result in behavioral problems, and repeatable schedules and increase and decrease workload, as I mentioned, are probably superior. Just as an example, in a Grand Prix jumper, we might jump that horse 3 days a week with cardiovascular training and flat work or trail riding, and in between, not jumping it every day, obviously, and getting the horse out several times a day to move, either turnout, a walker, a treadmill, hand walking, getting on the horse and just tack walking rather than working. Because as I keep mentioning, go back to what the horse evolved to do. The way to prevent lameness issues and GI health issues is to mimic the natural environment as much as you can and allow that horse to move around, because that's the way his limb structure and his cardiovascular structure develop.